to your Daily 5 for Thursday, December 7th, 2023. I don't know if anybody else experienced this, but on Monday or Tuesday this week, I suddenly noticed that I was seeing stories on multiple different technology and media outlets about a app called Beeper Mini, which is essentially a less horrible version of OnePlus Chats, which was attempting to solve and I'm trying not to just sound miserably sarcastic when I say this, but apparently the divide that occurs, the same as OnePlus Chats, between people on Android phones and people on iPhones when it comes to messaging, trying to make it where green bubbles appear as blue bubbles. And I'm not kidding, where as far as I can tell, that is the biggest thing that these companies have managed to solve so far. This idea that if you're on an Android phone, and you send a message to somebody on an iPhone, your bubble appears green. And this is something of serious concern to a lot of people. A lot of people in the United States in particular, and apparently very young. That this is a source of bullying and other types of derision. I'm sorry, I just can't wrap my head around this. But in any event, Beeper Mini is, at least in terms of its technical approach, a far better, from what I've read and understand, solution to the iMessage problem for Android users than OnePlus Chats was. OnePlus Chats was doomed from the beginning just on its technical and security merits. Beeper Mini does not require you to turn over your Apple credentials, at least not for the phone app. I guess there's some other version of the app that, maybe it's the desktop app that you have to give that maybe your Apple ID. But in any event, you don't have to turn over everything to these people, this third-party company. I don't know if Beeper is the company or not, but Beeper Mini is the actual app. But you don't have to turn anything over to them. You can actually use this through a reverse-engineered approach to interacting with iMessage. It's apparently something that has been I think it's a high school student did, and managed to figure out this way to make it work. And it does appear to work from what I've read and what I've seen of it demoed. It does seem to work for what people want it to do. And so they're saying that you can use it, you can try it for free, and then you can pay $2 a month. So in a lot of ways, it is a far different thing to talk about than OnePlus Chats. But in the most important way, it's identical, which is there's no way Apple is going to let this thing stay in place, especially now that it's getting a lot of media attention. Apparently is going up the Google Play Store charts pretty quickly. No surprise, because all these outlets are covering it. And so it is all but inevitable that Apple is going to change something to make this not work anymore. And especially in light of the fact that Apple recently, and maybe this has something to do with that, or there's other companies probably doing the same thing, it seems like maybe the reason Apple suddenly about-faced on RCS, the Rich Communication Service, I don't remember what RCS actually stands for, but essentially I'd call it a halfway solution to the iMessage divide, that a lot of people were surprised that they just suddenly reversed on. Maybe this is why. This is their legal cover, because now they can say, well, we're already opening up the protocol as much as we're willing to maintain our security. When of course it's not it's not about security at all. Let's not pretend. When the CEO of a company tells a person who is asking a legitimate question about how he can solve the problem with his mother who has an Android phone getting his message, and this person who commands one of the, if not the richest company in the world, says, tell your mother to buy an iPhone, then it should be very, very clear, and this shouldn't be any surprise to anybody who listens to this show, that this company doesn't care about you. The company cares about the money that you can bring into them, because like most companies on this planet, they're in business to make money. They're not in business to be your friend. They're not in business to give you the best product. They are in business to make money. That's it. It's as simple as that. And so in that mindset, why would they let this thing exist? Especially if it's as good as it apparently is from the testing I've seen, and it doesn't require you to turn over all your credentials. I mean, OnePlus Chats was almost a honeypot in terms of why would you do this? Why would you give a company well, whatever, I'm not going to relitigate that. That was a terrible idea right from the beginning. The minute they were saying you have to give us your Apple credentials, stop right there. Don't do whatever that thing is telling you to do unless it's Apple and you contacted them. But in this case, they're doing it in a more secure way. It does appear to work. But again, Apple has no incentive, especially because they're now going to adopt some version of RCS. There is zero incentive for them to leave this thing open. So anybody listening, I would be happy to hear an explanation. Why would they leave this thing in place? Because I don't think they will. Later.